Stupid commercials, my own jokes, the absurdity of my situation. I smiled until my face hurt, grinned through dinner, beamed during their lectures about fiscal responsibility. That's another $25, Mom would say, and I'd laugh harder. Make it 50, you ungrateful little bitch. I joined the drama club and got cast in a comedy where I got to laugh for 2 hours straight every night. The bill from that show alone was $8,000. I sang in the shower, unauthorized musical joy, $30, danced in my room, physical expression of happiness, $40, and smiled at myself in the mirror just to watch the numbers climb. I felt free for the first time, because what more could they do to me? Well, when my debt hit 6 figures, my parents escalated from financial to physical enforcement. They started collecting in other ways. 1 minute of standing in stress positions for every dollar I couldn't pay. 5 push-ups per smile, 10 laps around the yard for each laugh. When I kept smiling through the punishments, they moved to public humiliation, making me wear a sign listing my debt and stand outside our church. Then they started going after other people. They sent invoices to my friends' parents for enabling joy transactions, threatened to sue my drama teacher for contributing to a minor's debt, and got me fired from my job by telling my boss I was a financial liability with poor impulse control. They isolated me completely, cutting off every source of both money and happiness. You think this is funny? Dad screamed as my debt passed $150,000. We'll garnish your wages for the rest of your life. You'll die in debt like the worthless leech you are. No one will ever love something as expensive as you. Then he slapped me across the face. But then the weirdest thing happened. I tried to get a bank account when I was 17 and discovered my parents had already destroyed my credit by opening cards in my name and maxing them out. I guess they didn't want to wait for me to pay back my happiness debt before they started making money off me. The bank manager saw a teenager with 6 figures of debt and called the authorities. My parents got 10 years for financial crimes against a minor, and the judge wiped out my debt with one bang of his gavel.
And apologized. I told her it was all right and that it was probably some attempt at a joke. However, the next day, I grasped at what she was saying, and I felt really deflated. My wife sensed it and apologized again, and after taking a day to think about it, I told my wife, let's not make a big deal about it, but also, I was never going to cook for her ever again. My wife again apologized and almost started crying, but I told her it was all in the past. Let's move on. It's been 2 years since then, and my wife and mine's relationship is stronger than ever. Over the past couple of years, I've also spent a lot of time taking cooking lessons from my sister, who's a really good cook. I learned that cooking just takes a lot of consistent practice, and you can't just learn it over the internet. You need to acquire the skill. And I can now confidently say I am a much better cook than I was a couple of years ago. I cook for friends and for my family or my wife's family when they come over. The food I'm the most proud of and which I get a lot of compliments on is the Valencian paella. I made it for my wife's family when they came over for Christmas. However, in spite of the progress